Well, this week sure was something. Didn't have a giggle like this in a long time. Howdy y'all, Joshi here, and I want to tell y'all about the biggest bit of idiocy I've seen in the Bionicle community yet. Now first off, if you haven't heard of the person I'm going to talk about, I'm glad to be the first thing to come to your mind when thinking of Lime. Even though the fruit should probably be the first thing. Fucking weirdo. Go outside and look at a tree or some shit. Get some nature. And if you came here being aware of my targets, then let me tell y'all, Lime ain't that bad a color. Okay, let's get to the fucking point already. Limeflavouredlibertarian24, aka Toa Lime, is either the biggest retard in the Bionicle fan community or the best troll in the world. My Selection friends, a few people on the TTV Discord, and even cast members had a hearty giggle at the things that happened this week regarding him. I could sum him up to you in a sentence, but here's something you have to witness in depth. So let's do this shit.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt.
Sure, let's go over the basics first. Lime's most infamous trait is his obsession with Bionicle, or rather with its cancellation and the negative criticism it received, no matter how much reason the critics have. His motivation for it is fairly unknown, and you could say he's being unreasonable about it. He just wants it back to have it back. Is he gonna buy the sets?
Maybe.
Will he indulge in the story?
Perhaps.
Will he be content with what he is being presented with, despite the consumers showing no interest, the fans being disappointed, and the builders calling the sets boring and awfully designed? Why, most definitely! This guy gives no shit about how Bionicle is received or anything really. He merely wants it back to have a status quo.
Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt, suck my dick.
We found him at the height of his retardation a few days back when he was spreading the false rumor that Disney would want to buy the Bionicle IP, which ain't gonna happen. And he kept taking it for a fact, spreading it around and lurking in the comments of a video that wasn't even his. And when one of the TTV mods ironically nicknamed him a major news source, he took that as an actual compliment, or at least was projecting it onto himself, when someone mentioned an actual major news source. In fact, as the argument in the comments went down between us Solekians and Lime, Chronicler joined the fray and also began trying to talk sense into him. To no avail.
Shut the fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt.
So, I said even the people in the TTV community laughed their asses off at him, and LJ acted like he heard of him before. Slime and some others informed me that apparently at one point, Lime was a member on the TTV boards and he kept annoying the members of the cast to read his story or something like that, to the point he had to be banned. What makes him so special? Well, apparently, he was one of the first people to be banned from the TTV message boards. Congrats! You're a fucking failure!
Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here.
So to him, LEGO's only saving grace is Bionicle. Nothing else. This guy has read brick by brick one too many times and is now the guy with the big cardboard sign by the crossroad yelling, "The end is nigh!" For LEGO, of course. Even though Armageddon would be cool about now. Anytime. I'm waiting. So yes, according to him, System doesn't sell anymore and only Constraction is a good thing, but only Bionicle, since licensed themes are awful. Here's the deal though. The book is not about the recent times. It's been written some time ago, not yesterday. But sour-tasting free speaker 4x6 still lives in that time, relying on statements that may be invalid now, made by a person that maybe doesn't even hold their office in the company anymore. like they are still valid statistics. His hypocrisy shows when he begins to whine about well-selling lines getting television shows like your Hero Factories,
Fucking rip!
Kimas,
Fucking furry!
and Nexonites. I don't have a meme for that one, I'm too out of touch. Because, apparently, 4 feature-length films and a gorillion games are not giving old Bionicle enough credit. Also, a fucking Netflix series! Netflix! He keeps finding reasons to claim people are biased towards Bionicle or don't like it anymore and everyone is against him because people like other LEGO lines, and makes up contrived reasons as to why people have that criticism. My favorite examples: BIONICLE G2 didn't sell because of no canisters. Or even better, why do people complain about
Akimu the Rock Candy Crystal Blue Math Maker
being too trans blue, but nobody said anything about all black K2SO? Well, obviously...
You know, I think a lot of people don't have the bravery to say it. A set's too black. They're willing to say a set is too red or too gold or too transparent like blue. You know why? Because they're worried about being called racist.
I'm not even gonna bother commenting on that. Even though with the name Limeflavouredlibertarian24 one would assume him to be, you know, libertarian, a lot of the time he seems to try and be alt-right. Code word being try. He doesn't really understand politics, but despite him knowing nothing about politics and economics, he tries to talk like he knows what he's doing, and I try to explain. But how about I just show you something instead?
I hope Donald Trump, once he becomes president now, I hope he actually does something that I think the Bionicle fandom really wants to see happen. And I hope Donald Trump forces LEGO to bring back Bionicle. You know how I think he's going to be able to do it? He says, you know what? I'm going to put a 40 or 50% tariff on anything Denmark makes or anything LEGO makes, unless you bring back Bionicle and give it a TV show and give it an actual budget and all that other stuff. You know what? If Trump says that to LEGO, I bet you they do that. You know why? Because, to be honest, usually I'm not a huge fan of the government just forcing people to do something, but you know what? If LEGO forced... Not LEGO. If Donald Trump forced LEGO to bring back Bionicle, that would be such a huge revolution. So many great things would happen to Bionicle, would happen to LEGO, because if you look at LEGO nowadays, they're making all this money, but Construction's literally dying right before our eyes.
Yes. You just heard that. He wants the President of the United States to worsen the import conditions for Danish products to force one company to bring back a toy line that didn't sell, all the while fucking over every exporting company in Denmark. His apparent political interest is overshadowed by his inability to understand that any cause has its consequences, it seems.
What?
Do I have to? Alright. The way he manages his YouTube channel could be best described as, he's a fucking shill. If you look at his G+ feed, which I don't recommend, you can see him reposting everything he creates on every community that is in some way relevant to the topic he's talking about. Oh, you thought I was joking? I fucking wish! Now I've shown you clips, so you know what his videos are like quality-wise. He also doesn't seem to have a set script like me, but rather go by a flow of thought where he sadly tends to repeat himself a lot. And doesn't cut it out. And if you're confused about the audio quality, I know the answer because I had to ask him too. This guy told me he uses a 3DS to record. If that's true, then, whoa lad, Kingy has a better audio setup than you. And he's from Romania. Also, his intro. Not saying I ever have any good intros to my videos, but...
It's the Limeflavouredlibertarian24 show!
Cancer. I think Ultron delivered the best speech to him in his comment, and I think it sums him up quite nicely. You may be telling the truth about you being 20, but internally, you're a child. You're a child whose favorite toys were sold in a garage sale and wants them back. You are lashing out at the world and claiming Lego is possessed by demons and Lego is going to hell because a toy line was cancelled. You have clearly no idea how the real world works. You seem to think companies are a single being and go to hell if they don't do God's work. Lego is a company, and they cancelled BIONICLE because it wasn't selling well. Why wasn't it selling well? Simple. Kids don't play with toys anymore, because they'd rather be playing video games on their iPad or home console. When something doesn't sell, it's a loss for the company, in this case Lego, and if they lose too much money, they lose investors and lose even more money and have to fire workers because they can't afford to pay them. If BIONICLE kept going on to 2018 and onwards, it would have caused a massive loss for Lego, and it would simply not be as good, because as weird as it might sound to you, toy lines aren't designed for free. The process of designing a set, and sometimes a story, costs money. And as I said, if they continued on for say 5 more years, it would have been a massive loss for Lego. Times have changed since 2001. When BIONICLE was brought back 2 years ago, it was clear from the start that it was a passion project towards the fans, but its cancellation means it won't come back anytime soon. I don't mean to come off as some asshole who wants BIONICLE to never come back, but you need to relax. Stop posting and going around saying companies are going to hell for not reviving BIONICLE like some overzealous prick, and do what I, along with a group of people, did. Make your own story. Fill in the gaps to a plot hole in BIONICLE G2. Or you could go to Bricklink, get a bunch of parts and build your own story. After all, isn't that what Lego is all about?